Rasool, the South African ambassador that was expelled from the United States of America, is back to South Africa. We all know he was expelled for making a comment about the current international policy of the United States of America.
Donald Trump is launching an assault on incumbency, those who are in power, by mobilizing a supremacism against the incumbency at home, and I think I've illustrated abroad as well.
The US declared him persona non grata. Look how South Africans clapped hands when he arrived in South Africa. With so much warmth, so much freedom, so much brotherhood. He had a couple of things to say. Listen to this.
Amandla. Good morning. Molweni. Assalamu alaikum. Goeiemorgen. Rashida and I have just traveled about 32 hours from the United States via Doha to Cape Town. It was not our choice to come home, but we come home with no regrets.
When somebody say, welcome home, he say, I'm back home. He say, welcome home.
I want to say that we would have liked to come back with a welcome like this if we could report to you that we had turned away the lies of a white genocide in South Africa, but we did not succeed in America with that. We would have preferred to come here to say that we have won for you a goer, but we could not win it by withdrawing our case from the International Court of Justice against Israel, because as we stand here, the bombing has continued and the shooting has continued, and if South Africa was not in the ICJ, Israel would not be exposed and the Palestinians would have no hope.
Okay, so very quickly, he says here he wish he would have come after convincing the Trump government that there was no genocide, no white genocide happening, but unfortunately they were not able to do that. Now, will you be able to do that? Question mark. Well, Julius Malema doesn't agree. Julius Malema believes America knows there's no genocide happening in South Africa. America knows very well because they have some of the best intelligence services in the world. So if there was genocide happening somewhere in South Africa, they will definitely be aware of it. They will give you numbers and space and distance and everything and satellite image. They know there's no genocide. But the reason why they're applying pressure is because of South Africa taking the country you don't name to court. That is why Trump is applying all sort of pressure. Now he says, I wish we could have come back with that result after convincing the Trump government that there was no genocide of white people happening in South Africa. But we were not able to do this. Let's continue.
Yes. We would have preferred to come here and say that we have won for you trade deals and that we have been able to secure for us trade deals, but we could not do so by allowing the US to choose who must be our friends and who must be our enemies.
We will not allow the US to choose who's going to be our friend and who's going to be our enemy. You already know how it functions. If you speak to somebody the US doesn't talk to, you're going to be the enemy of the US. If you deal with somebody like Cuba or any other country that they don't like very much, you're going to be in trouble. They're probably going to sanction you. And he says, well, we could not bring up trade agreement because the US feels they have to choose who's going to be our friend, who you're going to be friend with.
So we don't come here to say that we are anti-American or that we have no need for America or that we don't have ties with America. We come here even after being declared persona non grata. We still come here and say we must rebuild and we must reset the relationship with America, because our relationship with America over 50 years has not always been with the White House. It has sometimes been with Congress, and it has always been with the people of the United States of America.
Okay, so what he's saying there is, okay, just because we've been declared persona non grata, it doesn't mean we should break the house and burn it. Because our relationship with the United States of America has not just been with the White House for 50 years. Our relationship has been with the Congress and the people. So in other words, he's saying the White House is temporary. Okay, let's not break things with America because our relationship has been with Congress and the people of America. It's just a very mild way of saying, don't worry, they're just there temporarily. They're trying to create mayhem. After that, there will still be America. Let's continue.
So, when the White House and Congress declared us as terrorists, it was the dock workers in San Francisco that refused to touch South African goods. When Congress did not want to have sanctions, it was the American people who did not eat our fruit and did not touch our goods. And so we have this relationship that we must reset and we must rebuild. And we must hope that President Cyril Ramaphosa will be able to pick up where we left off. But we cannot have a simplistic idea that while we say there must be an ambassador, that you must put a white ambassador for a white president in the United States.
Very, very, very interesting. He says, so just because America is not very happy with me as an ambassador, does it mean South Africa should appoint a white ambassador for a white president in America? President Cyril Ramaphosa must be very strong with regard to that. Because yes, sending a white ambassador will send a signal of weakness, maybe? What do you think? Even if he's competent. Sending somebody because they're accusing them of that, you already know what I'm talking about. It should be better to send someone who is competent, not necessarily white.
And so, many people have said, what is diplomacy? We tried the conventional diplomacy and tried to avoid discussions about the genocide. We tried the conventional diplomacy and said that we must pretend that there is no merit in the idea, or that there's merit in the idea of land confiscations. We could not ignore that. And so we had to go to what is the diplomacy of Ubuntu, the diplomacy of mutual interdependence, that I am because you are. The diplomacy of Ubuntu is not the art of lying for your country.
That's true.
It is the art of speaking the truth, but gently. The diplomacy of Ubuntu is not flattering your host, and the diplomacy of Ubuntu is not denying what is wrong. The diplomacy of Ubuntu is intellectual engagement, and it is persuasion of your host about a better way.
So he's clearly saying, we are not afraid of you, in a very nice way and polite way. We are not afraid of you. The diplomacy we want to implement will always tell the truth. It's not about caressing you on the way that you like. You know, we shouldn't have diplomacy where you feeling nice, you know, and we are bearing the truth. We need to have the truth out there. Whether it's not nice or nice, we need to find a solution to it. Very interesting. You can see this man is very strong. People that fought apartheid were not all black, okay? There were colored as well. There were Indians as well. There were even some whites that fought against apartheid in South Africa. Yes. So as you can see, look at the screen, you can see different colors. I mean, South Africa is a very diverse country, and the color doesn't necessarily mean different opinions, okay? People can be of different colors and still believe in the same thing. Like I said to you earlier, South Africans can have issues with each other, okay? They can punch one another. But when it comes to one of them against the world, they will always stand together. Let me know how you feel about this. It was a great pleasure. God bless.